Uh, um, yes.
All right. You got the intro ready to go?
Maybe.
You're the one that's gotta be there for Big Bang Theory at 7 o'clock. So this is your ball game, man.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Why can't I see you?
Because I'm on my wife's computer,
Oh, right.
where hopefully I sound better.
Yeah, you do. Okay.
You don't.
I don't. You could have told me this.
No, you're buffering.
No, I'm really not.
You really are.
I don't think I am.
I never buffer, but you do. Do I ever sound like I buffer on the podcast?
No, rarely. What is this? Why is there? How bad is it?
Not bad.
Okay. Hang on. Let me run a speed
Blueberry.
test. Blueberry.
Blueberry.
Blueberry what?
Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
Just did it again.
Dude, there's no way I'm pulling down 68 megabytes a second.
I think it's fine. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing, man.
All right, now you're doing it.
Just telling you what I'm hearing.
Okay. All right. Who cares? Let's do this.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. You
ready?
ready?
I didn't mention it. Ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 month behind podcast for the week of 9/18/17. I am Pat.
And I am Sean.
And this month, this week, this day, this year, to screw up.
Thought you had the intro ready.
I do. From the top.
3, 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 month behind podcast for the week of 9/18/17. I am Pat.
And I am Sean.
And we're here to bring you another week of the Marvel Unlimited podcast. Count it down.
3, 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 month behind podcast for the week of 9/18/17. I am Pat.
And I am Sean.
This is another week where we are here to discuss the books that are Marvel Unlimited. This week we're Donald Trump and Roger Goodell because we're just irritating each other with not being able to get the opening right and having players sit and stand and kneel and just there you go.
How you doing, man? It's all about honoring our veterans.
It is. I was watching something on Sunday Night Football last night, and what DeMaurice Smith, the head of the NFL Players Association, and Roger Goodell were both hoping is that after yesterday that the whole thing would just go away.
Okay? Oh, it's not going away. It's not going away.
I know that literally it would just go away. Okay, everybody protested over the weekend. Our president said what he had to say, and it would just go away. Because what was happening before this weekend is the police unions and the players were talking, and the military and the players were talking, and everybody was reaching understandings in the cities.
Yeah.
And everything was working out. And they were like, everybody was coming to agreements, and everybody was coming together, and they were like, okay, if everything would just calm down, it'll calm back down again. But no, that didn't happen today. So there you go.
The Cheeto in chief had to open his big fat bazoo and spark it all over again. So
and there you go.
Yeah. Now,
we have.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's become a whole thing again.
Yeah, but we have comic books. We have comic books this week. We have Deadpool the Duck #5 that's going to save us. Deadpool.
I don't know about that, but at least this is a comic book podcast and not a football podcast. Although, if I wanted to, I could get political with this too, because there's some other crap that happened this week. But I won't do that.
Great Lakes Avengers will save us.
Yeah, no, but
the Guardians of the Galaxy will save us.
Maybe that actually wasn't a bad book.
Yeah, it was, man. Yeah, it was. You're thinking of Guardians 1.1 last week. This is Guardians of the Galaxy number something this week.
Number 18. I didn't think it was that bad.
They're a team, a group. There's like, if you count Angela, there's 6 of them. We had 2 if you count Gamora's cameo.
Yeah, but you got to do the Angela story occasionally. Anyway, if you want to email us about what you feel about Guardians of the Galaxy or the NFL football player protest, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
Hit us up on Twitter at
6 months behind. It's just at 6 months behind.
Or visit the website at www.6monthsbehind.com, where all the alternate covers are there. I've been on a roll with the alternate covers, and for like the last 6 weeks, they're there. They're actually there.
Yeah,
this week's covers are there. Next week's covers are there.
Yeah, you're not uploading covers at the last day of the month.
No, I'm doing them week by week, and I actually come up with a decent system of putting them there. And
okay.
Because dude, it was taking me forever. And what I started doing is literally just putting up alternate covers. And if you want the regular cover, hey, it's in your app.
Yeah, it's on the it's
app that sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
The app, holy cow, Marvel. We love you. We love your characters. We love your comics. I actually like your writers. I actually like Nick Spencer. Okay? I'm gonna discuss this week how much I like Nick Spencer, but your app sucks. Can you do something with the Marvel Unlimited app, please? Please.
Yeah, I mean, I was belly aching about it just before we started the show because I like to all the books that I'm going to review. I like to download offline so that I'm not relying on an internet to make sure that I can read the book. It's just there locally on the device, and I can read the book, and it wouldn't download them. And then earlier today, I couldn't. It only gave me 3 pages of one comic book, and yeah, it was a pain in the rear end.
There you go. There you go. We do discuss spoilers on this podcast. There's no telling what I may go into at some point. And there are books that are going to lead to spoilers this week. So you have been warned. And if you haven't noticed, I'm in a mood. So
yeah,
good luck to everyone.
And I actually ended up running across a few spoilers myself this week because for some reason I went, ooh, Marvel December solicitations. I'll read those, and went, oops. Now I remember why I don't read these.
There you go.
I was bored at work. I was out of comic books to read, and or rather, I didn't want to read Great Lakes Avengers, and I was just scrolling mindlessly through a website, and I was like, "Oh, I'll read the slit. What's coming out in December?" Oh yeah, that's why I don't read these, because spoilers.
You're
Anyway,
literally the only person I know who doesn't have unlimited data, so you can just sit there and read books forever.
yeah, it's a whole thing.
I know it is. I know it is, and I shouldn't pick on you because it's a thing, and I know it's a thing.
Anyway,
so I shouldn't pick on you.
We also have a new episode of What's Next available if you would like to go listen to it, where we talk about not just the weekly books that come out, but all the hidden gems that are in Marvel Unlimited that you should read. We talked about Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. Totally worth reading if you're a fan of Daredevil.
Yeah. Are we recording one of those this weekend?
I don't have one ready to go. I figured we would do one on the next go around. We usually do them or try to do them every other week. So
I'll find one.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I just thought of one. I'll do one.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna jump straight into our books this week. We actually didn't have any Secret Empire books. Nothing for Secret Empire this week.
And that's coming to an end. I think after this week,
it's all Secret Empire all the time.
Yeah, we're going to be like headlong into Secret Empire forever.
Right, because their other event, Monsters Unleashed, is actually wrapping up with this issue number 5, sort of. So you have the big monster brood mother thing has arrived on Earth, and it's looking pretty bad. And essentially what happens is Lunella has to give a pep talk to Kai or Key. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And he comes up with this idea to start drawing some unfinished monsters that he had. He sends them up against this brood mother. That doesn't work out. She kills all of his monsters pretty quick. Then he decides, pardon me, that he's going to draw all of those monsters combined together into one giant like mech monster and use his abilities to fight the brood mother through the monster. That works out. He kills the big monster. All the other monsters are very thankful in a way, including Fin Fang Foom, which I'll say this series has actually been the only time I've actually not hated Fin Fang Foom.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So the Inhumans decide to set him and his family up in a house on Monster Island, wherever that is. And Elsa Bloodstone's going to look after him. And it turns out there's actually going to be a Monsters Unleashed ongoing series. So we're not done with Monsters Unleashed. Not at all.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I can't. The excitement is radiating out of me.
Yeah, I'm real excited about it myself, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's going to follow this kid and Elsa Bloodstone and all their monster stuff. So, if that's your thing. And I guess they're going to fight Dracula and stuff.
I'm actually into Elsa Bloodstone. I didn't even think they did a good job with her in this series.
She wasn't in it enough.
No, I thought they did a better job with her in that A-Force storyline that they had a few months ago.
I don't even remember her being in that.
Yeah, there was an A-Force storyline where these monsters took over a little town and anyway, I forget the plot, but she was in it. It was the first time I saw her. And that was when I was introduced to her, and I went back and read some books about her.
Okay. Well, if it's your thing, which apparently it was enough of some people's thing to warrant an ongoing series. So, more power to you. If you enjoyed this, you're getting more of it.
that brings us to the Spider-Man books with Amazing Spider-Man number 25.
I thought this book was pretty good, actually.
I did too. I'm not sure I would have paid $10 for it off the shelf, but you know, it was a $10 book off the shelf. The first story, I tell you what I enjoyed was, of course, Dan Slott wrote it, but I don't remember if Amon Wade, excuse me, Stuart Amon had been doing the art and Marty Garcia had been doing the inks and the color. But dude, this thing looks good. I mean, it particularly the color, it really looks good. But Spider-Man's on a tear, and he's looking for the Green Goblin mainly because he's just irritated and just wants something to go right in his life. And he
needs a
looking
win.
for Norman. He needs a win. He's looking for Norman Osborn, and somehow Norman Osborn has it's Ariel, right? It's from the Game of Thrones, who can change her face.
Arya, yeah.
Arya, yes, it's Arya who's learned to change her face, and somewhere along the way, Norman has learned to do that. And I don't remember that happening. I usually keep up with these things, and the last we saw of Norman, he was the Goblin King down in underground sewers and Superior Spider-Man, and I don't remember him having this talent, but now he does. So okay, and he is. You know, I'm going to butcher this name because it's Spanish, but he has assumed the face of Alpha Quaro, and they're convinced he's in some South American company. So Spider-Man and Mockingbird are leaving a SHIELD team to get him, and they capture the real Alpha Quaro, but that's not Norman, and Norman barely escapes. And they go back to New York and regroup, and they meet up with Aunt May and Harry Osborn and Betty Bryant and some kids who I don't care about. And
it's the Osborn kids.
Yeah, you sense my excitement here. Anyway, so then they fly to Hong Kong, and Peter starts hitting on Bobby, and then Aunt May shows up. And when I was making my notes, I was trying to think of a nice way to say it because I came up with a crude way to say it. But Aunt May shows up and crashes Peter's style when he's hitting on Bobby.
Yeah.
And I thought of a crude way to say it, but I was trying to think of a nice way to say it, but I couldn't find one. And anyway, so they get to Hong Kong, and he and Mockingbird start crashing all the mobster sites and
beating up bad
Hong
dudes
Kong,
and trying to run down a lead.
Dudes, so they find the lead, and of course he's at the Parker Ben Parker Foundation event. Which where else would he be? And where Norman has seen Harry, and Norman's freaking out because Harry's there, and then Silver Sabre's there, Silver Sabre's supposed to be dead, and that's a big reveal. And she's going to assassinate Osborn, and they're all there together at the Foundation event.
Yeah, and that's where the story ends, and that's, it'll be lots of sparks are going to fly next issue, I assume.
Yeah, and I was actually looking in Unlimited today, and if you go in your PC on Unlimited, which I don't do very often, but I was at work, and this Green Goblin thing goes on for 6 or 7 issues and is actually going somewhere, and it's going to be pretty good. So, it's pretty interesting.
It's Spider-Man and Norman Osborn. It's got to be good.
Yeah. So, but here's what's interesting about this book. And I almost missed this, but I knew this had to happen somewhere. So I thought, well, there's 80 pages in this book. So I started flipping. And it's like bad story after 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 bad story. And page 67, you come to this interesting story, which is Otto Octavius. And it's really cool because you don't know who it is until you realize it's Otto Octavius. And he's getting out of a truck to one of his secret hideouts that he hasn't been to in years. Turns out it's been taken over by Hydra. So he basically just stomps on the Hydra agents, because when the Jackal, Ben Reilly, was making all the bodies, there was one perfect clone that he and Otto were working on. And when the whole thing was melting down during the Clone Saga, or the Clone story, or whatever Clone was,
Clone Conspiracy.
Clone Conspiracy. Thank you. Otto downloaded himself into that perfect body. So at this point, what you have is Otto's brain into the perfect clone with all of Spider-Man's abilities. And that's who he is now. The body's not breaking down. He's got his intellect, the perfect clone with all of Spider-Man's abilities. He tears through these Hydra agents. He's there in his hideout, and he runs into Arab Zola. And Arab basically says, hey, you can, you can kill me. You can go through some more Hydra agents, or you can go to work for Hydra, and we've got plans, and you can go to work for us. And with that, he becomes the superior octopus.
This is basically the story that happened in the Spider-Man cartoon from a couple of years ago.
Did he become the superior octopus in
Yeah, he became the superior octopus and was a Hydra agent. Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't know that happened in the cartoon. But again, having read whatever our upcoming event is, I'm like Secret Empire, I know what he's going to do in Secret Empire. So I knew he had to get there somehow. And I knew that there had to be a story how he got there. And this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the better backup story in this issue. There's this like 2-page comic of some goofy Aunt May thing, which is very silly. There's this story where Peter gets, he, as Spider-Man, he finds a dog. It's clearly a Tom Holland story because the kid's Tom Holland for sure.
I didn't care about any of them. Not
one or two of them are okay. The rest of them are garbage.
Yeah, that's it. To me, this Otto Octavius story it was almost better than the main story because I was so excited about it.
Yeah, it was definitely the biggest payoff for sure. I mean, you got a bunch of lead in with, the whole Norman Osborn thing, which is cool, but this was the Otto Octavius thing was the biggest, like, oh, holy crap, this is going to be cool. Yeah. And now we understand what that Ben Reilly book is going to be about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next up, we have Spider-Man number 14.
So this is just another continuation in this this Miles Morales Gwen Stacy crossover. It's a bunch of the two of them jumping back and forth between timelines. At one point, they get separated and have to link back up. Spider-Man fights his dad from the other Earth. They run into Noir Spider-Man. They end up on the zombie Marvel universe for a minute. They end up in a universe where the two of them are married, and it's like a big announcement on Times Square. And they're like, oh God, this is weird. And, the thing is, that particular universe, you don't know. It doesn't tell you where they are. So they could be in their regular universe, but in the future. Anyway, at the end there, Miles runs across his actual dad. And apparently this is going to wrap up in the next episode of Spider-Gwen.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's totally cool.
Yeah, if you've kept up with this for this long, you understand what's going on. So, it was good. I enjoyed it.
That's cool. I actually haven't read this yet. I got to go back and read this one.
Yeah, it's good. It's, is what it is.
There you go.
It's just a continuation of that story.
Our only X-Men book this week is Uncanny X-Men number 19. And before I get into talking about it, this is the second book in a row and probably the only other one this week where I'll do this. I really thought this was drawn by, golly, who's been doing this book? I
have no idea.
Yeah, it's the guy who does all the females. Anyway, it was done by Edgar Salazar did the art, and Uris. Irola did the color art, and it just looks magnificent, man. I mean, it is gorgeous.
Yeah, it was a good looking book.
And I thought, at some point in the next 5 or 10 minutes, I'll spit his name out.
You talking about the dude that always does those controversial covers?
No, well, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't remember.
Anyway, through this whole series, Psylocke has been telling Magneto she was going to kill him, and in this issue, she just sets out to do it. I mean, she just, it's just one giant fight scene between her and Magneto, and she does. Now she kills him. Now the trick here is, I think essentially Magneto lets her do it. He doesn't really think she will, and he lets his guard down, and she does. She takes a strike with that what does she call that sword that she has? It's a telepathic sword. It's a telepathic sword that she uses.
Yeah, it's a psi sword.
Yeah, and she uses that, basically hits him in the brain and kills him mentally. And there are words for that. She kills him telekinetically.
Yeah,
that word. And he didn't think she would do it. Now, how do we know this? Because as soon as she leaves, Exodus and Elixir show up, who had been kind of waiting in the background, and they revive Magneto. And Exodus says, "Look, dude, let's just go. Let's just go hang out for a couple of years and wait for this whole mess to blow over." And Magneto's like, "No, I'm going to hang out in the background, but I'm going to do it my way."
Mm-hmm. As he always does.
He knows there are things coming. He knows that Rogers is up to things, and there's other things going on. He knows Emma Frost is up to things, but he wants to do it his way. Which means somewhere in Secret Empire he'll turn up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but he really didn't think that Betsy Braddock would kill him, which she did. She whacked him.
Yep. It's a really good dialogue between the two of them, and it was a really good issue. But yeah, she has no qualms about it.
No, none whatsoever. She yeah.
Yeah. Yep. She just killed him. I mean, it just straight up kills him, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, it was a good issue. I enjoyed it. And it puts a cap on all the X-Men stuff that's been going on. And I guess
it does.
I guess we're expecting, what is it, X-Men Omega or something like that, and then we relaunch with blue and gold.
Yeah, it's Prime.
And
then we launch, which I think will be next week, or maybe the week after, and then we get gold and blue. Yeah.
Yeah. So all new X-Men books coming your way.
Yeah, which aren't bad.
Then we move on to our Avengers books with U.S. Avengers #4. This title has been really good. Then it occasionally will take a detour like this and get kind of weird. So,
well, this is a filler issue.
Yeah.
It's just a plain filler issue, man. And I don't, it's a filler.
Yeah, I understand. So they send Dr. Robert Maverick, who's the Red Hulk and definitely not supposed to be Thunderbolt Ross, to Lichtenbad. I really think they created this character because they didn't want to use Thunderbolt Ross and needed somebody who was basically Thunderbolt Ross.
Why didn't they want to use Thunderbolt Ross?
I don't know, because he'd be great here.
And why did they have to use this monster again?
I don't know.
I mean, here's the deal. Okay. Next issue, Daredevil. They work for S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay. I'm not telling you secrets here. Okay. I mean, let's think about this. AIM was taken and wrapped into S.H.I.E.L.D. with U.S. Avengers #1. Okay. So Robert DaCosta and the U.S. Avengers now work for S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay. Who runs Shield? Steve Rogers. Okay. What is Shield? Shield is Hydra. All right. So where do you think they're going in issue 5 in 2 weeks?
Right.
Where,
Yeah.
where is this whole series going? Well, it's going to be rolled completely into Secret Empire. It's got nowhere else to go because it's a Shield book. It can't go anywhere else. So they needed to fill in the issue until they got full blown into Secret Empire. I get that. But dude, why did you have to resurrect this horrible monster?
Right. Like, give me something with some character exposition going into Secret Empire.
Dude, no doubt, man.
Yeah. Give me some more Wiccan and Hulkling stories. Not
anything.
Not the Red Hulk going to Lichtenbad. What is this? I don't know. I guess it's Latveria to fight. He's supposed to be fighting the American kaiju, but runs into a monstered out Deadpool. And as we find out later, Deadpool's been experimented on by this mad doctor living in this castle. It's all very B movie horror flick type thing going on. And it's just Red Hulk and Deadpool fighting for a minute until the serum works off of Deadpool and he comes back to his normal self. Then the two of them team up to fight the big monster guy. And then Steve Rogers is there to talk to Robert DaCosta. And you could probably just skip this issue altogether because it's not going to have any repercussions at all.
None. Just none. No. Which brings us to a book that will have repercussions and a book that is good, which is Uncanny Avengers number 21. So we still have the Uncanny Avengers fighting the Red Skull, or fighting his minions, I should say. And the Red Skull has still got Rogue beating up Deadpool, who can't die. And at some point a couple of issues ago, Deadpool took a side trip. And where he went was to the X-Mansion. And turns out the X-Men, which we all know, like to keep trinkets. And whenever they can, they take their villains' armament away from them. And one of the things that Deadpool retrieved was Magneto's helmet, which shields people from telepathic attacks. And almost with some of his last strength, Deadpool reaches in the bag, snatches the helmet out, and put it on Rogue's head. And when he puts it on Rogue's head, Rogue is not a happy camper.
Right, because she immediately realizes everything that's happened to her.
Right. And Skull looks at her and is like, no. Matter of fact, it's like, no. And Rogue just starts busting up the place. And going after Skull, going after everybody, basically. And at that point, she knocks the Skull out. When she knocks the Skull out, everybody is set free. I don't remember when Cable's mind was wiped. I guess the Red Skull did it at some point. But I don't remember it happening.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't either. So anyway, all the heroes are together. They're all okay. They're all going to live happily ever after. And then Rogue has taken the Red Skull to Dr. Henry McCoy, who she wants Professor Xavier's brain removed from the Red Skull. And we'll see if it works.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens to the Red Skull between now and Secret Empire.
Yeah, I've really not cared for the writing of the Red Skull in this book, particularly like in the first part of this issue, he's talking about having his dessert and he's talking to Deadpool while eating a sundae. And it's so not how the Red Skull should be.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all this power and he's just wasting it.
Yeah.
It's just
he's just not acting like the Red Skull.
No.
He's
It's
acting
not.
like a stereotypical comic book villain.
Yeah. If you look back at how other people have written him in the past, I mean, I think Jerry Dugan has done a really good job writing some of these books, but I don't think he's done a good job with the Red Skull here.
No, I don't think so either.
I think he's missed the mark with the Red Skull.
Yeah, I would agree. Then we move on to our regular books. We have Black Panther: World of Wakanda. This continues the story of Ayo
Who
and
cares?
Nika. Yeah, you figure out how they get that armor that they're in that what was the second or third issue of Black Panther. It's more story with the Dora Milaje. If you've enjoyed this book, great. I don't have a whole lot to say about it because I just don't care. It's necessary to flesh out the Wakanda story and what else is going on in the current Black Panther book, and I understand that, but I don't care.
Why? Why is it necessary?
It adds a little depth to the rest of. It's not just about T'Challa. It's the other citizens of Wakanda, but it's whatever. It's not bad. It's just not my thing.
I think it could have been done in other ways and fleshed out in other ways better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you've enjoyed it, it was another issue. It was fine.
Yeah. So anyway, Captain America, Sam Wilson, number 20. Let's talk about Nick Spencer for a moment.
Okay.
Our man Nick Spencer has taken lot.
Your man Nick Spencer.
Our man Nick Spencer
Uh-huh.
has taken a lot of heat because he turned Captain America into a Nazi. And for that, he's received hate mail and death threats. And people have hated on him and hated on Marvel. But the same guy that did that has written this Sam Wilson book and wrote this issue. Now, this is a really great issue. And this issue really addresses the issues that we discussed at the top of the show, which I intentionally brought up because I knew I was going to address. I was reviewing this book and I was going to discuss Nick Spencer. It addresses what's going on with the NFL players. It addresses a lot of what's going on in America. And if Nick Spencer can be called a Nazi and all the things he's called for writing the Captain America Steve Rogers book, what do we call him for writing this? That's a question to you.
No. I don't.
Did you read this?
Yeah, I did. I mean, even a broken clock. I did read it. A broken clock is right twice a day.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. This is like 6 issues of this Rage story, which does a very good job of portraying how African Americans are treated by our justice system in America.
No, I didn't disagree with you there. It doesn't make up for what he did with Captain America, though.
No, but he's using the Captain America storyline to be able to tell these stories.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to tell these stories without plot devices?
I don't know what you're referring to.
I mean, how do you show
the characters themselves are the plot devices?
How do you well, just screw it. How do you show the redemption of Sam Wilson without tearing him down first?
Well, if you don't tear him down, he has nothing to be redeemed from.
Well, but that's the point. You have to show his struggles. You have to show his struggles, the struggles that people go through, to show him rising above them. You can't show him rising above anything if you don't show him going through them.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what you're getting at. I really don't understand your point. The started about Nick Spencer, and now we're talking about Sam Wilson, and I don't know where the two. Nick Spencer wrote a decent story, so therefore he's not. I don't know what you. And I'm not trying to be difficult. I don't know where you're going with this.
It's all a decent story. The Secret Empire story. This isn't like you wrote one decent issue. First off, the whole Sam Wilson story has been good, and I think he's taken too much of a beating for Captain America. And I think when Secret Empire's over, you realize that all of this was tied together.
That it was all done for a particular purpose. Or to teach a particular lesson.
Yes.
Okay. I haven't read Secret Empire, so I can't speak to that.
I understand. I understand. This issue is, and if you've been reading this story, this issue is about Rage and what's his name, Edwin.
Sure.
Elvin. I'm sorry, Elvin. And what he's basically done is he's turned himself in for a crime he didn't commit, to show how the justice system treats African Americans. Sam Wilson is able to get him out if he wants to, because he's got videotape that proves he's innocent, and he won't allow Sam Wilson to get him out. And the people are rioting in the streets, and Elvin winds up being transferred to another jail where he's being beaten because he's a hero, and he's basically beaten until he's brain dead. Now, he's not dead at the end of the issue. He's comatose and brain dead. We'll see if he's ever revived. There's one issue left in this arc. We'll see where it goes from there. But that's what the issue's about. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah. I actually did enjoy the book, and I've enjoyed this story. I'll assess what I think of Nick Spencer after Secret Empire.
Okay.
Moving on to Daredevil number 18.
And there's your neighbor's dog.
Yeah. Purple Part 2, we have Matt continuing to confess to this priest, and basically gives him the down low on the Purple Man. You get a little background on him, and you see how he escaped from his confinement, and how he has children that Matt Murdock was trying to hide and keep safe, and now he's come after those children. And in attempting to save those children, Daredevil becomes ensnared by the Purple Man also. It was fine.
Huh. I thought I read this, but I don't remember doing it.
It was... you probably did and then forgot about it, because it's a pretty forgettable issue, I'll be honest.
This looks like something I'd read at the first of the week, but I don't remember reading it. I tell you what was completely forgettable. Good Lord, was Deadpool the Duck. Dr. Bong is revealed as the villain at the end of issue 4. They you know what? I don't even want to go into it. The art's good. The color's good. The rest of it is a disaster. Okay? Just they finally get separated. How they get separated is so gross. I don't even want to go into it. Okay, it's just bad, man. It's just bad. Just
It's
dude,
really good art being wasted on a terrible character and story.
dude. Just let's just move on.
Okay, tell me about Great Lakes Avengers, which I actually would have wanted to read if I had been able to read more than 3 pages, because the app sucks.
And Great Lakes Avengers was something else. I didn't. Dorman is picking up dead people. Okay,
Yeah,
and I guess he's taking them to the void. So he picks up this dude who tries to con him into not being dead, which actually kind of works because he winds up going around with Dorman. And then you got Bertha, who is I guess I haven't been reading this. So what she's fighting this with this other woman about something about supplements, I guess.
She was last I saw. She was supposed to be doing a photo shoot. She was supposed to be like a before model for this supplement company, but it turned out to be a way for them to steal her shape shifting powers to turn into supplements so that they could sell them. And yeah.
So anyway, so now they're fighting over the supplements, and now everybody's got her shape shifting powers.
Yeah.
And then the one woman that's in charge just turns into let's call her Goliath. Okay, so she turns into a giant Bertha, and then Bertha winds up taking the same formula, more of the same formula, and she turns into a giant also. And then Dorman shows up, and then the rest of the Great Lake Avengers finally get the RV started, and they show up. And of course, the ghost that's being drugged around with Dorman shows up because now he's kind of Dorman's sidekick. And if that sounds like a cluster, it's not as bad as Deadpool the Duck, but it comes in a close second.
Yeah, those are definitely going to be the 2 worst books this week.
Honestly, it was just bad. It was bad. And then you got the Guardians of the Galaxy.
You didn't like this. I didn't love it, but I thought it was okay.
It was okay. We got 1.1 last week, which was a good Guardians book. Okay. And I watched the movie. I got the DVD last week. Okay. Actually, the Blu ray to be specific. And, I watched all the extra scenes and I watched the Blu ray. And I'm listening to James Gunn and the director's cut. And then I get an Angela Solo book. And I'm like, come on, man. Really?
I mean, it's a tried and true formula. The Guardians of the Galaxy, whatever their composition may be, work together when they're in space working as a team.
Yes. So why are they on Earth? Why is Angela looking for Sarah? Okay, that's Angela, Queen of Hell from a year ago. Okay, Sarah's gone. She's frightening some dude in his apartment who's wearing an FF shirt.
I thought that was funny, actually.
It was pretty funny. Okay, it really was, actually.
I mean, can you imagine?
Scared to death.
Yeah, can you imagine being that guy and just this lady just busts in your window looking for her girlfriend, and you're like,
yeah, and you're like, he can't decide whether to be scared or hit on her, and he's scared to death, and then she's attacked by Maxilin the Accuser, who dies about 4 pages later. And he's got a spaceship parked on top of Madison Square Garden that all the Guardians could escape on because Thanos is coming. And I guess they're all going to get back together to fight Thanos in the next issue. And I'm like, wait, what, why? Why aren't they all together?
Yeah, I don't know. Eventually they'll be back together and it'll all work out. It
wasn't bad. I mean, if you were looking to an end for the Angela, Queen of Hell story from a year ago, or if you wanted to know what Sarah was up to, or if you, wanted another issue of that book, hey, you got one.
Right. But it's billed as a Guardians of the Galaxy book, but it's a solo book.
Right. Which was my problem with it.
Yeah.
That was my issue with it. And it's not an Angela, Queen of Hell book. It's a Guardians of the Galaxy book.
Right. Yeah. Well, Then you have Mighty Thor number 17, which continues Thor's struggle against the not the Chitauri, the Shi'ar gods. They're having some sort of god off where they're
I thought that was pretty good.
It's not bad. Then you have, of course, the continued story with the what are Thor's buddies called?
The Heroes 3, the something 3. The
Sif and all them.
Yeah.
They're fighting the Shi'ar and they unleash the destroyer on the Shi'ar, and that works out pretty well for them. And
yeah,
Loki, you find out the reason that the Shi'ar gods are even dealing with Thor at all is Loki came and basically stroked their ego and told them, hey, you got to take care of this Thor kid. And they summon some nameless dark thing from a volcano on a planet. I don't know, man. There's so much happening in this Thor series. I can't keep it all straight. And I'm enjoying the book, but it jumps back and forth so much, and there's so much going on that I cannot keep anything straight. And I know that Jason Aaron is writing it's meant to be an epic like the Odyssey, and that all of this, when you his run on Thor from like what, the last 3 or 4 years to up to now to when he finishes soon is all going to be one giant story. And I understand that, and I think it will be better read as a single story, just issue to issue. But right now, reading it like this, I don't know what's going on.
It will be better read in trade paperbacks.
Yes, absolutely. And it'll be good then because it's good now. But reading it twice a month or once a month or whatever we're reading it just issue to issue is almost, it's impossible to remember what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you have this Marvel number 16. We find out the origin of this computer virus that she's fighting. It's quite literally a computer virus. It threatens to reveal all of her friends' sensitive information if she doesn't insert the virus into a SHIELD mainframe somewhere so that it can infiltrate SHIELD. She almost does it. She walks into SHIELD. She's in a room with Coulson. She's about to do it, then just runs out. Coulson, of course, thinks that maybe he didn't brush his teeth this morning. She busts in on her friend who's like, hey, this is happening, and the guy, this troll or whatever is going to tell everybody that you are in love with this girl if you don't do what he says. And yeah, okay. Anyway, she enlists her friend Bruno to help with defeat the computer program. It's whatever.
Yeah,
it was fine.
It was whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of whatever books this week. We had like 22 books, and not a ton of them were great.
No, no,
no.
Is this what's wrong with Marvel?
No, because I think they're doing really good stuff. It's just not all the time. I enjoyed that Poe Dameron book. I think Venom's really good. Punisher's really good.
Yeah, okay. So if you got 22 books here, how many are really good?
You know, you seem to think Secret Empire is going to be good, and I'm, No.
I mean, of the 22 books that are here this week, how many would you buy on a pull list? Maybe half a dozen?
Uh, 10 or 12 of them, maybe. Yeah, about 10. Just looking at this list.
Maybe 10?
Yeah, maybe 10.
I mean, if money wasn't the issue,
Well, if money
Okay.
wasn't an issue, I'd be buying all of them and not caring. But
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not going to be buying all of them. I mean, it's
I'm going to be buying that Amazing Spider-Man, the Spider-Man number 14, Uncanny X-Men, maybe even Uncanny Avengers.
I'm not reading World of Wakanda. I'm not reading
No.
Deadpool to Duck. I'm not reading Great Lakes Avengers.
No.
I'm not reading Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not reading Miss Marvel. I'm not reading Patsy Walker. I'm not reading Star Lord. I'm not reading Totally Awesome Hulk.
I would be reading Amazing Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man, Daredevil,
both the Uncanny books, the U.S. Avengers.
I'd read Miss Marvel. It was okay. Punisher, Venom, all the Star Wars books, let me tell you, I'm not going to be buying this Patsy Walker book because it's just ridiculous. Patsy has a cold.
Oh,
every time Patsy sneezes, something disappears. This time, it turns out to be the apartment building that they all live in. It's just gone. And somehow this involves the lady that owns the rights to all her kids' stuff, her childhood stuff.
I'm glad I didn't read this.
All the books that she was a part of when she was a kid. It turns out that lady's dating the devil. And it turns out that every time Patsy sneezes, she transports either stuff or herself to limbo or hell or some sort of place like that. They actually all get transported there. They find the building in hell, where they also find She-Hulk for some reason. And Patsy and She-Hulk have a little moment, and somehow this is going to be the last issue.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. Whatever, man.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, Star-Lord number 4. Daredevil was back harassing Edmund Allen, who's the old guy that Peter Quill's been hanging out with. And Daredevil was really being a jerk. They're really writing him as a jerk in this book because apparently Edmund Allen was some kind of cat burglar like 20 or 30 years ago. And when Daredevil was first starting out, and Daredevil wants him to pay for the crime. And I don't know, man. And Peter Quill was like, dude, you telling me that, and all these people you beat up, you never commit a crime? And Daredevil finally agrees with him, and they agree that if he'll never commit another crime, that Daredevil will leave him alone. And Daredevil was, I'll be watching, and he leaves and whatever. And then they're back to the bar with No Name, and Shocker's worried about Diamond Head. Turns out Diamond Head's limbs will regrow as long as his torso's intact. So Peter Quill and Shocker go looking for Diamond Head, and it doesn't turn out well because Peter gets captured by Black Cat, who owns the bar and wants Peter to do something for him. Of course, Shocker, bails on him quick because Shocker's a coward because he's Shocker. And he's holding the dude that Peter works for, who happens to be Edmund Allen's son, hostage. And I'm sure Edmund Allen and Peter Quill are going to go do some kind of Berkeley for her.
Yeah. Again, these characters work better in space as a team.
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't. This issue was actually better than some of the previous issues, but it wasn't great.
Yeah. Then we have the Punisher number 10, which was really good. Dude, it's just, it is what it is. It's the Punisher killing bad dudes, which is what this series has been for 10 issues now, and you can't go wrong with it. Again, also not for children, in case you didn't know. So Punisher has tracked down the harbor that they're shipping these drugs into. And it's basically him. He rides into the place on a motorcycle, slinging a bear trap on a chain around with an axe and a gun. and just killing people in the worst. I mean, he throws the axe and hits some dude right in the face. He takes this bear trap on a chain and literally just rips a dude's face off with it, rips the guy's arm off with it, shoots one guy, stabs another guy with the axe. Dude, it's just Punisher killing dudes. At the end there, the drug lords that are controlling this go basically mutiny against their leader and actually end up capturing Punisher, and now things are looking hairy for Punisher. So, yeah, I mean, dude, this is a consistent book. This might be their most consistent book that Marvel's publishing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And by the way, let's take a side journey here. The Netflix trailers really look good.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. If you haven't seen it, the trailer for the Punisher Netflix series came out, and it, at the very least, the sound design in the show is going to be great if the trailer's any indication.
Yeah, it's really looking good.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah,
it looks like it's going to be
13 episodes. I
really do too. This, I like 13 episodes. I really prefer more, but this whole like 8 episodes here and 7 episodes there is not cutting it.
Dude, the family, I didn't watch it, but the family watches Fuller House.
Mm-hmm.
It dropped this weekend, 9 episodes.
Yeah, this is, I understand wanting to shorten up your season and getting away from the 24 episode a year model, but you can't be cutting it like this.
Dude, 13 was half a season.
Yeah, I mean,
and now you're cutting it to 9.
Yeah, it's not going to cut it, guys. Just not. Especially when you're all nickel and diming me for all your streaming services.
Anyway.
Totally
Awesome Hulk number 17.
Yeah.
Dude, you sent me a text today. Hang on. So CBS is charging you X number of dollars a month, and the Big Bang Theory isn't on there?
Nope.
How is the Big Bang Theory not on CBS's streaming service?
Because they want you to subscribe to cable and watch it there so that they can sell you advertisements.
I mean, I understand that you can't cut on network or cable TV from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night without seeing the Big Bang Theory. It's on somewhere. But dude, it's their streaming service. It's got to be there.
Listen, I subscribe for Star Trek Discovery, which, side note, if you're a Star Trek fan, you're on the fence about it, it's good. Go watch it. You can actually watch the first 2 episodes on the service.
I told you I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was good. And I'm going to continue to subscribe for Star Trek Discovery because I want to communicate to CBS that I want more Star Trek. But I thought, you know what? If I get access to all of the CBS stuff, which I like some of their shows, and I can catch up on the Big Bang Theory, I might keep this service. Turns out Big Bang Theory is not on it, which ensures that I'm going to cancel it as soon as Star Trek is done for the season. As soon as it's done.
Dude,
you're going to hit me for $8 a month, still give me ads, and then not put your number 1 show on the service? Come on, dude.
And still give you ads?
Yeah, you still get 3 to 5 ads in the shows.
Dude.
Yeah.
I get irritated. I get irritated when I'm watching the WWE Network and I get 1 or 2 ads.
Yeah, dude. I went into it going, you know what? Maybe this will be all right. And then realized the Big Bang Theory wasn't there. And 75% of the reason I wanted the thing went out the window. So I went, okay, all right. Well, then I'm going to communicate to CBS that as soon as Star Trek is done, I'm going to cancel. And here's the thing is they're going to take a break mid-season for the winter break. I'm going to cancel it then. And I'll resubscribe when the show premieres.
Yeah,
because that's how I feel
probably
about
subscribe.
it.
I'll probably subscribe at some point, binge 13 or 14 episodes, and yeah.
You get a week free, so if you want to wait till it's all out, you can just hit it for 1 week and not even pay anything. I thought about doing that, but I really want to communicate to CBS. more of this Star Trek, please. So I'm willing to give them my $8 a month for Star Trek.
Yeah.
So if it means more Star Trek like this. So yeah. But to not include your most popular show in the service is ridiculous. They're also what do you call those things? Time zones. They're locking the show with time zones on the app. So essentially, if you're on the West Coast and it's airing on the East Coast, you have to wait till it airs on the West Coast to be able to stream it on demand.
What?
Yeah. I mean, even HBO understands that as soon as it comes on, you can watch it on HBO. There's no reason to do that, especially on a on-demand service. CBS has got to figure their crap out. Because I guarantee you, this service is only going to exist for people like me who want to watch Star Trek that bad, and they're gonna see their numbers plummet as soon as that show is done for the season.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Totally Awesome Hulk number 17.
Back from Nerd Weekly. Back to Marvel Unlimited. Our 6 months behind Popcats. Here we go. Totally Awesome Hulk number 17, which I don't know, man. Are you into this?
It was okay.
It was all right. You have Prince Regent Falcon of Snarknoff 7. Good gosh, man. Seriously.
He's kind of ridiculous. Yeah.
He's taking these people hostage and he wants to eat 3 of them. And they have to offer up 3 of them within, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. So they're trying to come up, Amadeus Cho and Silk and Miss Marvel and all of them are trying to find a way to keep everybody safe. And of course he's got the D&D death trap set up there on the planet. And finally they he comes back and knows about all their traps, and finally the heroes just start offering themselves as the 3 people, except Amadeus Cho has somehow outsmarted them because he gets off the planet. When he's off the planet, the thing that keeps him from becoming the Hulk is, nullified, and then he becomes the Hulk, except one of the humans dies in the process when they start attacking the planet, and then he loses control because he becomes angry, and then it's all downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually wasn't a bad issue. It's a little too cheesy. Starting off 7, right? Well,
yeah, it's a little silly.
It's you could have made it a little less cheesy, as it would have been a little better.
Yeah, no, I agree. Then you have Venom number 5. So Spider-Man's out on patrol like he usually does, but he's taking a quick break to have some Kung Pao chicken when he checks Facebook and sees that Venom is fighting the Scorpion somewhere in the city. So he hops off to go disrupt that fight. Venom slinks off somewhere trying to get away from the fight. Then dude calls up his federal agent contact and tries to lure them in. It's basically Venom fighting federal agents, and they decide to call in Eddie Brock at the end. I've enjoyed this series. I'm losing the story a little. Meaning I forget who all these tangential characters are and why he's going to the police about stuff. I guess it has something to do with the Black Cat thing, but it's good enough that I'm going to continue reading it, but we're 5 issues in and it hasn't really gone anywhere.
I always wait for every episode to see how you fit the word tangential in.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I guess I say that word a lot.
No, but you said at least once an episode, so I wait to see how you squeeze it in every episode.
Okay, then.
That wraps up the Marvel 616 books and brings us to the Star Wars books.
Yeah, the only one we had this week was Poe Dameron number 12. They've crash landed on this planet where they're being aggressively pursued by crap. What's this guy's name? Terex, Agent Terex, and his goons. They go hide in a cave somewhere. There's a fight in the cave. BB-8 maybe died. We don't know. Probably not, but we're led to think so. C-3PO actually comes up with a good little diversion where he, how he speaks so many languages. Well, one of those languages is whatever the language these bats that live in this cave speak, and he's able to make them attack Agent Terex. And then Poe Dameron's Black Squadron shows up, and they're coming to the rescue. It was fun.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. It was okay.
There you go.
Did you have a favorite book this week?
It was probably that Uncanny X-Men number 19. I know that seems like an off-the-wall choice, but I really enjoyed the art, the writing, the color. I thought it was good character development. I really enjoyed the book.
Yeah, I did too. I enjoyed Amazing Spider-Man really well. I'll call that one my favorite this week because
it could have been Spider-Man. It could have been that Uncanny Avengers. There were several possibilities, but I really enjoyed that X-Men book.
Yeah, you had the main Norman Osborn story, then the backup story with Otto. That was good, and at least two of the backup stories in Amazing Spider-Man were entertaining. So, yeah, we'll call that one my favorite this week.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
In the dump this week, I was just looking at them. We got some 90s Daredevil and She-Hulk stuff. And there's a lot of that 90s Daredevil stuff that's missing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really some good, and this will also be our classic rate of the week. There's some really good John Romita stuff in that 90s Daredevil that needs to be filled in. And I'm hoping they're getting around to it. And it's just, there's some stuff from the 90s that's really bad. And this is some early 90s stuff that I'm really hoping they're getting around to putting in there. And that would also be your classic read of the week, that I'm hoping they're getting around to putting those books in, because there's some big gaps in that Daredevil run. It's basically you got Frank Miller's run in like the 160s to 190s. Then you got Frank Miller's second Daredevil run in the early 200s. And then it's just spot stuff up until the modern era where they're digitized. And it's just, if you're a Daredevil fan, there's just nothing there. And this is where they're filling those books in. And I'm really hope they continue doing that.
Okay, cool. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap us up for the week. If you want to get in touch with us, please email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. Please also follow us on Twitter at 6monthsbehind and check out our website,
www.6monthsbehind.com.
And since you were just talking about Daredevil, please go listen to our episode of What's Next, which involves Frank Miller's Daredevil. Yeah, it was a good episode. Before we go, Pat, do you have any wisdom for our true believers?
I didn't look any up, but I do. Don't drive in traffic in Memphis. Just don't, man. True story. Or true stories.
Yeah.
We often talk when I'm driving home, right? How often do you hear me screaming in fear, yelling? Just how often?
Or sometimes just brakes squealing.
Yeah, cars careening.
Yeah, it's a daily thing. It happens on the daily.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris was on the phone with me one night the night I got rear-ended.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. The lady just plows into the back of me, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the impression that driving in Memphis is a dangerous venture.
It is. Dude, if there's a gap that a car will fit in, that's a merging spot. It's not a safe distance between cars. It's a merging spot in Memphis.
Yeah. Well, it's Tennessee. Your football team sucks and you can't drive.
There you go.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.